Number 15 is Metallica's Master of Puppets. Obviously, this is a lot of people's favourite Metallica album. It's not my favourite, it's my second favourite. Um, but yeah, this is a classic thrash metal album from 1986 by Metallica. It's the one that everyone goes on about as being the best Metallica album ever. And it is very, very good. Yeah, it's a very accomplished thrash metal album. It is very kind of... They're really showing their progressive tendencies on this album for the first time. The track Master Puppets being a perfect example of that. An epic track with that big acoustic kind of breakdown in the middle, and then back into the pummeling thrash metal afterwards. It's a brilliant track. The title track is alone makes this album a classic. But it's full of great Metallica songs. Battery, the opener, is great. Welcome Home Sanitarium is great. Disposable Heroes and Leper Messiah are great. The instrumental Orion is amazing. This is a really accomplished, very, very high quality thrash metal album, so I understand why it is held in such high esteem. And indeed it is my second favourite Metallica album, so there's no denying that it's quality material. Number 14 is Alice in Chains' Dirt. Alice in Chains, along with Soundgarden, a grunge band that is more on the metal side of grunge, hence qualifying for this list, unlike the other grunge bands which would be on the rock list. Yeah, Dirt. Wow, what an album. Very emotionally affecting, very cool. Very cool. It's about... The album is almost like a concept album because it all seems to be about the same thing. It's about basically depression and drug addiction. And the brilliant tracks, I mean, brilliant tracks articulating depression on this album. Of course, Down in a Hole, which is an amazing song. And Dirt itself, which is sort of the drug addiction thing but also the depression thing. But you've also got a song like Damn That River, which I find really cathartic and enjoyable as well. So you tried to damn that river and it washed me so far away. But yeah, Down in a Hole is an amazing expression of depression. And then, you know, the second half of the album really is fully about drug addiction. I mean, it's there already in the first half as well, on a track like Sick Man. But yeah, you've got Junkhead, of course, which starts with that drunk fuck. And but yeah, this is the happy song about drugs on the album, about, you know, a good night, the best in a long time, nothing like a dealer who's high, all that stuff about we're an elite army of our own, the stoners, junkies and freaks. You can't understand the user's mind, but try with your books and degrees. If you let yourself go and opened your mind, I bet you'll be doing like me, and it ain't so bad. Which, you know, at certain times in my life, I was never into heroin, but thank God. Certain times in my life where I was very heavily into, you know, acid and speed and ecstasy, I sort of embraced this song a little bit as a kind of, yeah, you know, people think this is a bad thing, but I'm having a good time, and this is a good thing for me. But then, yeah, we get all the like negative side of the Dirt, as I said. It's another one about depression, and it's very accusatory, you know, that you, with your attitude towards me is what put me in this mental state, sort of thing. But yeah, with very gruesome, raw lyrics about, you know, fantasizing about blowing his head off. I want you to scrape me from the walls and go crazy like you've made me. But yeah, very accusatory lyrics about you have the talent to make me feel like dirt, and you use this talent to dig me under and cover me with dirt. Very dark lyrics, very accusatory, but you can feel the sense of I'm not well, emotionally and mentally I'm not well, and, you know, suicidal and stuff. Yeah, then you have Godsmack, which is a great song about, it's all the things a junkie will hear from other people about, you know, because the whole thing's like, what in God's name have you done? Stick your arm for some real fun. Da, da, da. You've got that line at the end, and God's name is smack for some. It's a great track. Of course, you've got Angry Chair and Hate to Feel and stuff. It's really starting to, like, you know, feel regret, as it were, for being a junkie. And of course, it ends with the wonderful track Wood. So I made a big mistake. Try and see it once my way. And of course, the line at the end: "If I would, could you?" It's just a brilliant album. It's very good writing, and it's very effective music, and about a very dark and troubling subject matter, and it's brilliant. Number 13, Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. My favourite Judas Priest album, clearly. And yeah, I mean, it's 80s Priest, it's 1982, this is their, I suppose, stadium rock kind of metal sound, you might say, but it's brilliant. I mean, it can thrash really hard as well. I mean, Electric Eye and Screaming for Vengeance, they're fast, they're thrashy kind of heavy metal. I mean, Judas Priest are not a thrash metal band, they're a heavy metal band, but this is, you know, these are the kind of fast tracks, very speed metal tracks that you know, influence thrash a lot. And I just love the sort of kinkiness on this album as well. But before I get into that, Electric Eye, great song, opening song about surveillance culture. You know, all them hidden cameras that record everything you do. They're all over the town centres now. But I mean, this was like when it was like a fantasy, a science fiction idea that there's some satellite up in space like recording your every move and stuff. Really good song. Riding on the Wind, which I just find really exciting. It's like an adrenaline rush of a song, you know. Shooting through the clouds a million miles an hour. Surging rush of power. It's a really exciting song, that one. I was going to say, yeah, I like the kinkiness of this album. There's a song called Pain and Pleasure on here. You give me pain, but you bring me pleasure. I don't know what I like. It's an amusing song, but I enjoy it. Being a submissive person, I've often related to that quite a bit. I like Take These Chains Off as well. A lot of people wouldn't like that because it's sort of, you know, ballady, but I find it really powerful, emotionally song. That one, and Devil's Child at the end, which is a bit amusing and silly and whatever. But I find it fun and enjoyable. Yeah, Screaming for Vengeance. Great Judas Priest album. Number 12, Slayer, Seasons in the Abyss. Yes, this, of course, it's the second highest Slayer album on this list, and it's, of course, a classic Slayer album. The high points of which are obviously Dead Skin Mask, the chilling portrayal of Ed Gein, I think that's his name, the serial killer, yeah. Chilling. I mean, that bit at the end where it's like, you know, Mr. Gein, I'm not playing anymore, let me out of here, I don't want to play anymore, let me out now. It's so chilling. And this is what Slayer do so well, to be honest. And the other highlight of the album is Seasons in the Abyss at the end, which is just a great thrash song with its very slow doomy moments as well, building up atmosphere. And yeah, it's just a very satisfying track. But there are other high points on here that perhaps don't get quite as much praise and attention. I mean, Skeletons of Society, a nice kind of simple kind of crunchy riff to it, but lyrics about, you know, end of the world kind of stuff. After it's a kind of post-apocalyptic thing to the lyrics, really. I love that line about hear the prophet make his guess that paradise lies to the west, so join his quest for the sun. Slayer can be quite poetic in the lyrics sometimes. But yeah, Skeleton Society is a great track. Temptation's a great track. Expendable Youth, you know, about criminal gangs, you know, shooting each other over drugs or whatever, and not a subject matter you expect Slayer to sing about, but wow, it's a brilliant song. And yeah, a lot of the album's really good, and it's a good Slayer album. It's sort of after Rain and Blood, which was really fast and brutal, and South of Heaven, which was a bit more slow and atmospheric, you've got Season of the Abyss sort of seemingly blending those two things together, so you get a nice balanced Slayer album that shows all of their sides off to a certain extent. Even if some of the tracks feel a little bit like they're treading water, it's a good Slayer album, and that's the reason why it's very popular, because it's good. Number 11, Faith No More, Angel Dust. The other Faith No More album that really made them such a big deal in the late 80s and early 90s. This came out in 1992. Yeah, this is where Faith No More really showed how varied and strange they could be. There's just so much going on here, so many different things, and so many bizarre, off-the-wall, strange kind of perspectives on life that are demonstrated in the lyrics here. It's a very interesting album, and very unusual and strange, and I like unusual, strange things. So, Midlife Crisis, the big single off the album, that bit in the middle where it's almost like an element of techno or rave into it somehow, which is interesting. There's some just really great songs on here. Smaller and Smaller, which is about poverty and how that crushes your spirit. Everything's Ruined, great song. Malpractice, very dark lyrics about seemingly child sexual abuse, with that weird circus music bits in it as well, and it's very pummeling, heavy kind of. That's an awesome track, Malpractice. Kindergarten, great song about, you know, being held back. This the American system, I think it doesn't work this way over here, but where you can be held back and have to go through a year of school again because you didn't graduate or whatever. So you got this thing about this kid who's always a lot older than the other kids because he keeps getting held back. Yeah, that's a good song. Be Aggressive, another big single. So unusual in metal because the keyboard player is gay, and this is a song about oral sex, male to male oral sex. I love, you know, like KISSING thing. It does it with the Be Aggressive, Be Aggressive, B-E Aggressive, B-E-A-G-G-R-E-S-S-I-V. It's really quite funny. But yeah, it's the I swallow and stuff. Yeah, it's about oral sex, and as it makes quite clear in the last verse, where it's like ejaculation and tribulation. I swallow, I swallow, I swallow. Which, you know, makes a queer metal fan like me very happy. And it's a fun track. Small Victory, wonderful. Jizzlobber, another very heavy musically song. But it seems to be about Catholic guilt around masturbation, which is, again, bizarre and interesting subject matter that you wouldn't expect. But that's what's so genius about Faith No More. They can do these things. And a great kind of like organ and kind of thing at the end and stuff. It's just very, very interesting, amazing track. And the album is very interesting and amazing. It's great.